just pass. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be
Good morning,
silent.
everyone.
Come and share a
Happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. So, we're starting a new tradition as of this Sunday where we are all going to try and join in and learn our song that we've been kind of playing the last few weeks. This door is open. And so we're going to have the words up on the screen, and we want to invite everyone in the room and everybody at home to join in and sing with us. We're going to have the words available to everybody. So we're going to go ahead and play our welcome song, and I hope everyone can kind of let the words resonate with them and stay in their memories and marinate a little bit so we can all get to singing together from here on out. Thank you.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's play together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open. Oh, this door is open. This door right here is open for you. Oh, this door. I'm talking about this door. I said this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Thank you so much. That was so fun. Had a nice time walking around and saying hello to everyone. Well, now that we've went ahead and did our welcome song, it's time to settle in our seats and get ready for a treat. We have Rev Jack today. He's going to be on Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and have a seat while he takes the stage. Thank you, Rev Jack.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to be with you. I love the lyrics of that song. This door is open. The God in us sees the God in you. That is the affirmation that we are starting this day with. If this is your first time visiting with us live at CSL Visalia, welcome. We are so glad you're here. If this is the first time you have joined us online, it's good to see you. Our virtual door is open. We absolutely recognize the God in you, and I know that you'll see the God in us. So I'm going to ask that you sit back and get ready to be inspired today. Today, we are going to be talking about being open from the top and being your authentic self and doing whatever it is that you feel called to do. I'll give you a little bit more on that. But right now, here are our announcements for what's happening at CSL Visalia. And welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I want you to notice the fun new stuff we've got around the center. So come over, let's bring the camera, James, over here to I am creating when I, and then people at our art show on Friday night took a sticky note and put what they wanted up there. So I hope you'll all add your what you're creative at and what you're happy about doing. Their sticky notes are right down there, and you can add our talks about it. And then I want to show you the other things that we did on Friday night. So art show from the Art Nook, and keep going. So there we have our first group. You see the pizza is still on the back wall. So we had a little photo op. And Stevie, who runs the Art Nook, the night before this, she made all these fun things to do. So we had the Mahulk, and you can't see Lori there, but she's playing the guitar. And then we have the pizza, and then we had little kids there doing fun stuff, and keep going. There we have, we have Bev and Richard. And then we had this great, she made all these darling things. You can't tell her tail there. Her tail will come up a little bit later. And there's, so that's Stevie on the right. She's the one who did all this. And there we have more kids. So we had some kids here. And there's the tail. So there she's got fire coming out of her mouth and the tail coming out the side. So it was so much fun. We had people doing all kinds of fun things. And we sold a bunch of art. So look around. Great art. Maybe you'll want to get some of it. And of course, we have this wonderful mural of the unicorn on the back wall, too. So check it all out. So let's go to announcements. Juneteenth is getting closer. I hope you'll all come. We've had Juneteenth here for 2 times, and this time we're celebrating with the city because the city is going to do their first ever Juneteenth celebration on the 19th at Whitendale Community Center, which is not on Whitendale. So you're going to have to Google it to find out where to find the place. And there's going to be drumming. Buddy's going to be there drumming, and Tino's going to be there doing the opening. Our people are going to be there doing these wonderful things. And then we'll have this wonderful little slideshow on Edmund Weisinger's story, who integrated California schools. And he was a Visalia person. Baby contest. You notice we have a new contestant down there in the right-hand corner, Peanut Butter. That's Donna W.'s cat. And we got 2 other new ones today. We got Rita's great-granddaughter, Zara. She's 4-year-old. We'll have a picture of her next time. And we got, who else did we get? The parrot. Yes, Jamie, who is online with us and often comes with Reverend Jack. Is he a parrot? She just said a bird. We don't know yet. It's a bird. So I thought, okay, we now have a human being and we have a bird in the baby contest. So, and then Sima's Fable brought pumpkin cheesecake in honor of the wonderful Halloween necklace that he has on there, or she has on. He has on. So we have 2 fundraisers in the back today. So get your money out because this is the fundraiser. So we have wonderful rolls from Zara and we have wonderful cheesecake from Sima. So please give money, donate to the basket of your choice or both after service. And one more, fundraising. We're having a fundraising meeting after service, and I hope people will come, especially the baby people will come to get ideas of how we can raise money, because we've always raised, $3,000 or more with our baby contest, and so it's important. We haven't done too many fundraisers, and we need to do that. So if you have any ideas, just come with and meet with us for a few minutes afterwards while you're eating these goodies, and we'll plan some more activities that we can do here. And now I will turn it back to Sima.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for all the updates of all the fun stuff happening all around. And now we're just going to get back to what it's all about. So if I could have everybody read the mission statement with me, please. Center for Spiritual Living Visalia is the place everyone comes together, connecting in love and learning how to create abundant, joyful, and peaceful lives. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move over to our very first song for the day called These Are Days.
But actually, it's Lean on Me.
Lean on me. Well,
There
that's
has
just
been
wonderful.
a change in the program.
And so we shall. Thank you, Donna and Kevin.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow. No one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till we're gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call me if you need a friend. Just call me.
Wow, what a plot twist. That was amazing. What the heck? All right. Well, now let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on to our What We Believe statement. Science of Mind has 14 of them, and each month we look at a new one. So if everyone would please read along with me. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God are one God. Thank you. So now we're going to move along over to our diversity quote. If I could have Bonnie come up and join me on the stage. I'll meet you halfway, actually. There you go.
Today I might need my water. Okay, I have been told by the powers that be that I need to move this along and not make it so long. So, to that I reply, yes, ma'am. Okay, so today, instead of just giving you a quote and sitting down, I'm going to talk about a woman who was incredible. But I never heard of her in high school history or college history. I heard of her just recently, and it confounds me because she should have been there all along the way. But now I'm happy to say there is lots of information out there about her. I recommend that you watch the documentary, which is now available on Amazon Prime. My name is Polly Murray, and it's fantastic. And then there is so much more information out there about her. Just look her up. Books that she wrote and biographies about her. It's all there. So, one quote, she said, "One person and one typewriter are all that is needed for a movement." And if she's the person, boy, that's the truth. So, I have a document here that I'm going to be referring to, but I'm also going to go extemporaneous to move it along a little bit more. Okay, before I start, this is Pride Month. I am talking about a person who belongs to the LGBTQIA plus community. So because of that, I will be using some language that some of you may not be that familiar with. Polly Murray is a person who falls under the category of gender nonconformity. That means that she came to recognize that she felt as if she was a man in a woman's body. And she was born in 1910. So in 1910, there was no language out there to deal with what she was going through, and certainly no community to deal with what she was going through. So she kept this to herself. She never wrote about it in her writings, except very personal correspondence with doctors. She had one person who was her rock, her Aunt Pauline, whom she was named after, who referred to her as her boy girl. And she loved her unconditionally, accepted her exactly as she was. But Polly Murray had enough to deal with just to survive in a world being a black woman without coming forward with this other information. So you will hear some pronouns being used, he, she, and they, them, in this document that I'm going to be reading from, and it is in reference to the fact that she is represented by, they are representing the maleness and the femaleness of her personhood, which she, at least nowadays, is recognized. When she was alive, of course, it was not recognized. Okay, Polly Murray was breaking barriers from a young age, held back by what Murray dubbed Jane Crow. He was a staunch advocate for the rights of women and people of color and fought tirelessly for civil rights. As a poet, writer, activist, organizer, legal theorist, and priest, Murray was directly involved in and helped articulate the intellectual foundations of two of the most important social justice movements of the 20th century. Anne Pauline Murray was born on November 20th, 1910 in Baltimore, Maryland, the fourth of 6 children born to Agnes Fitzgerald and William Murray. When Murray was 3, her mother died from a massive cerebral hemorrhage. Murray's father, a graduate of Howard University and a teacher and later principal of the Baltimore public school system, was left to raise 6 children on his own. Dealing with his own grief, William sent Murray to live with a maternal aunt, Pauline Fitzgerald, and grandparents in Durham, North Carolina. And it was interesting that their heritage was Irish, Cherokee, and African American. All right, Murray was a fantastic and energetic student. By the age of 5, she had taught herself to read. It also helped that her aunt was a school teacher, and she took her to school with her when she was a child, a small child, so she kind of learned by osmosis. Later, Murray was the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, the president of the Literary Society, class secretary, a member of the debate club, and a top student, and the forward on the basketball team. Graduating high school at age 15, Murray was qualified to attend any top university. Murray refused to apply to the North Carolina College for Negroes because he refused to be further confined by segregation. Murray set their sights there, representing both, set their sights on Columbia University, but the school did not admit women. Murray instead matriculated to Hunter College, an all-women's school at the time in New York City. And New York was just the place she needed to be, New York City. While at Hunter, Murray worked various jobs to finance their education. Murray moved into the Harlem YWCA. While in Harlem, Murray became friends with Langston Hughes, met W.E.B. Du Bois, and many other famous people who performed at the Apollo Theater. She graduated Hunter in 1933 with a BA in English literature and faced a terrible job market. She also began writing poetry, getting published in various magazines, including The Crisis, a publication of the NAACP. In the 1930s, Murray began to struggle with their gender identity. Murray changed their birth name from Anne Pauline to Polly. Murray also began looking for gender-affirming treatments, including hormone therapy, but was denied. Murray seems to have mostly internalized the struggle. Murray's autobiography omits any mention of their sexuality, gender orientation, and quest for medical treatment. In 1938, Murray moved back to North Carolina, applied to the graduate program in sociology at UNC Chapel Hill, but was denied entry due to race. In 1940, Murray and a friend were arrested and sent to jail for refusing to move to the back of the bus during an interstate trip from New York to North Carolina. This was 15 years prior to Rosa Parks. So this was one of the things that was her being ahead of her time. Murray wrote a letter to the then president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, about the fact that he should do something about the fact that she couldn't get into the university. And she wrote another letter to him, just in general, talking about the fact of segregation. She was determined to destroy segregation. She said to him, "I am a Negro, the most oppressed section of your population. Can you for one moment imagine the outrage that would arise within you to realize that you, a human being, were being marked apart from your fellow human beings?" She sent that to the President of the United States. He did not answer, but he showed his wife, and eventually they became friends. And their friendship got her places that she otherwise would not have gotten to. She called her a firebrand. And the book, The Firebrand and the First Lady, was written by Patricia Bell Scott about their friendship. Okay. Okay. I should probably just say she attended Howard University, which was a historically black college and university. She decided if she was going to be able to do the things she wanted to do, she needed to be a lawyer. Oh, by the way, I should say, first of all, she was a poet. And then she became a lawyer and writer. She was dismayed that in the law school, first of all, the professor said, "Why should a woman attend a law school?" And then she'd raise her hand and nobody would acknowledge her. So at the time, of course, people, and all the other people were black, but they were all male. And they were all discussing Jim Crow and how to handle Jim Crow. And she said, "And what I'm dealing with is Jane Crow." So everybody was dealing with Jim Crow, but she was dealing with her own form of Jim Crow, which she called Jane Crow. So that was something, and that became a book that was authored by Rosalind Rosenberg, Jane Crow, and that was her other biographer. Okay, so the next thing that I should mention about her that was so ahead of her time, while she was there at Howard, she decided, again, she hated segregation, so she decided to take a group of students downtown DC and not have a sit-in sort of, but just have a study session at a restaurant that did not allow black people to go to their restaurant. And it happened, and they were successful. And within a few months, they had, now I don't know DC, but they had integrated most of U Street, and successfully, without a whole lot of hoopla. And again, this was 17 years before the first sit-ins that we know about so famously in the 60s. 17 years. Okay, the next thing that puts her on the map so tremendously, and of course, she graduated from Howard, She was supposed to go to Harvard because if you graduated with top honors at Howard, you got a scholarship to Harvard. But of course, Harvard didn't accept women. So she went to Berkeley, and she got her law degree, her that passed the bar and everything from Berkeley, which didn't seem to have a problem with her. But then she couldn't get a job because no law firm would hire a black woman, regardless of her credentials. So the next thing that put her on the map was the fact that they were talking about Plessy versus Ferguson. And she said, the bad thing about separate but equal is that it was inherently unequal to have people separated, that it visited violence on the people who were being separated from the larger group. It was saying you're lesser than. You are lesser than to be separated from the major group. And that it was saying, you don't belong. And everybody laughed at her. Thurgood Marshall, the rest of the guys at Howard, and they said, nah, it'll never fly. It's too pie in the sky, too utopian. And she said, I'll bet you $10 that within 25 years, Plessy versus Ferguson will fall. Well, 10 years later, in 1954, it went to court, Brown versus the Board of Education. And Thurgood Marshall was the guy who took it to court, who fought against it. And they went into the archives because she had written a paper at the same time she was arguing with them about it. She had written a paper saying the same thing. They found her paper. They used it as the main logic to fight the suit, and they won. Unfortunately, they didn't give her any credit, but she did win the $10 back. Okay, that. And then the last thing that she did that was like a brainstorm. The 14th Amendment, which established that there was equal protection under the law for black people and people of color. She said, I bet you we could use that for women. Women are people, and this says equal protection for people, so let's try it. And she used it, and it worked. I think she was working for the ACLU at the time. And she also insisted that the ACLU hire Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a very young woman at the time. And they did. And then a few years later, Ruth Bader Ginsburg uses the same argument in a case, Reed versus Reed, and she wins the case based on the same argument using the 14th Amendment, but to help women. And this time, she put Pauli Murray's name on the case. So, Pauli Murray has been linked to several things all through history that without her probably might or might not have happened. And that's why they call her this behind the scenes, sometimes in front, but often behind the scenes glue to our civil rights and our women's rights. She was also in, she was one of the founding members of NOW, the National Organization for Women. In fact, if I stood here and told you all of her firsts, we'd be here until 7. So she has, she's remarkable. Her footprint on history is incredible, incredible. So also, she's the first priest, first African-American woman priest of the Episcopalian Church. That's what she did. That was her final career change. Yeah. So, so I'm done with that. And if we still have time for the poem, we could do that. Okay. If you can picture, instead of me, maybe a black girl of about 10 years of age. That. Okay. Give me a song of hope and a world where I can sing it. Give me a song of faith and a people to believe in it. Give me a song of kindliness and a country where I can live it. Give me a song of hope and love and a brown girl's heart to hear it. Thank you.
It's a bit emotional. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for taking the time to research that and to share that with us. And that was incredible. Thank you so much for your time and your efforts for that. It is a very painful thing to think about, how people are punished for just being people and how that happens today. It's very painful, and I could not think of a better follow-up to that speech than our next congregational song, which is I'm the Place Where God Shows Up. Thank you, guys.
Am I strong enough to bear the burden that sometimes strong enough to bear the burden that sometimes comes living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decision when I am standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own, 'cause I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Okay.
We can throw in another verse. All right. Second verse. Here we go.
Well,
Here we go.
good morning. I am so what do I want to say, empowered by the work that we've done together and how we have come together as a community. I'm going to assign that homework assignment. I'm going to ask that you go on YouTube or wherever you find vintage movies and you download a movie called The Shift. Kind of the shift in my point of view, shift in my way of thinking, The Shift. It was produced and written by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Porta de Rossi is one of the stars in the movie. And it is one of those ways that we can introduce our teaching to someone else, someone that might be new to this faith, this philosophy, this way of living. I've used it before in orientation sessions, but it really speaks to everything that we talk about. The whole idea that if you want to change your life, you must first change your thinking. And this movie resonates with me because as I was preparing for today, I was thinking about this word authenticity. And really, what this word authenticity means when it comes to how we show up in the world, how we are being an example, the demonstration of what it is to be students of this philosophy. And I was reminded, many of you that live in Northern California are familiar with a retreat center by the name of Asilomar over in the Monterey Carmel area. This movie, The Shift, is filmed entirely at Asilomar. And I have had the occasion many times in my adult life and on my spiritual journey to go to Asilomar for various conventions, various conferences, and retreats. And one time I was asked to go to be a speaker at a conference, and my partner at that time was driving me down to Asilomar from our home in San Francisco. And we got there a little bit early. And it was one of those situations where, you get to the hotel, you go to check in, and you arrive at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they tell you that check in is at 3 p.m. And so you're kind of on your own for a while. And so we were hanging out in the lobby of this inn at Asilomar, waiting for our opportunity to check in. And over in the corner of this lodge was this baby grand piano. So I'm doing some stuff. I'm futzing with the bags and, kind of looking at the little map of, the grounds and where our room might be. And all of a sudden, I hear this beautiful pianist playing. And it was just like, oh, goodness, this sounds wonderful. And I looked over, and to my astonishment, the person playing the piano was my beloved, the person that I was there with in relationship. And up until that moment in time, I had absolutely no idea that Dan played the piano. And so, I went over and he almost immediately like stopped playing. I go, no, 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 go on, play. And as I witnessed his piano playing, I realized there wasn't a piece of sheet music anywhere. But he was playing this classical music on that piano from memory and by listening to the ear. And as he finished, I said, why aren't you doing this professionally? Why aren't you a pianist? Why aren't you showing that side of yourself? And he said, I can't. He said, I am a banker. I'm going to USF to get my master's degree in finance. I am a banker. And he was really kind of irritated in how he communicated that with me. So I decided to leave it alone for a little while. And, we checked into the room, and a little bit later, we were walking along the beach. And I said, "Why was your reaction so strong when I asked you why you weren't playing the piano?" And I don't know whether it was the ambiance of the location or what it might have been, but just a few moments later, there were tears rolling down his cheek. And he said, "Well, when I was a little boy, I could sit down immediately following anyone who played the piano and replicate what they played. I just had an ear for it. And if I would hear a classical recording on a record, I could go to the piano and I could repeat it and learn it." And one day I was doing that, and my father walked by and slammed the lid of the keys down on my fingers and pointed at me and said, "You will be a banker." And I never really played the piano again, because in my culture, and Dan was Indonesian of Chinese ethnic background, his father owned the Bank of Jakarta. And the way that the banking system was set up in Indonesia at that time, you know, there was no board of trustees. There's no one to hand it off to. If the bank was to continue, it would be going to the eldest son. And so he was sent to the United States to learn all that he could about finance and accounting and bookkeeping so that he might go back and continue his family legacy. Nothing was given credit for any talent that he might have or what he would want to do. But as Dan continued his life in the United States, he began to shift. He began to be more of his authentic self and to make the decision that he could take dominion over his life. Well, one of the reasons why the movie called The Shift resonates with me so is within that movie, we are witness to a gentleman who, for all intents and purposes, appears to be the groundkeeper. He's tending to the gardens, he's wearing bib overalls and the gloves, and he's out tending to the flower beds and clearing the walkways. And, he's just kind of a friendly kind of guy, as different people that are there for a retreat come and go, and they see the gardener and they see the groundskeeper, and they kind of chat with him and talk with him. And we're watching this through the eyes of a narrator that is a documentarian. He is there to film a documentary about these folks that have this audacious idea that if you want to change your life, you must first change your thinking. And so the movie is filled with the prose and the writings of Dr. Wayne Dyer and also Louise Hay. Louise Hay was one of the great teachers of this faith, this philosophy, this way of living, especially in the 80s and the 90s, as many of us faced the AIDS pandemic. So we get to watch what is going on and unfolding as a variety of characters within the movie decide to take dominion and to live their authentic self. And he comes into the inn late one night when nobody's there, and he hears this beautiful piano music being played. And he was just, kind of going into the reception area of the lodge just to kind of clear his thinking and take in all that he has heard. But as he's sitting there, he looks over, and at the piano, playing the very same piano, that Dan played is the gardener. The gardener, the landscape person from Asilomar, is sitting and playing the piano. And he goes over to him and has a very similar conversation. He goes, "Oh my goodness, if you're that good of a pianist, why aren't you doing that?" And the gentleman, and I'm paraphrasing here, says something about, no, no, no. This is my grounding. This is how I, get in touch with myself, because owning a place like this is a lot of work and I have to have balance. And the narrator said, "Excuse me? Did you say owner of this place?" And he goes, "Yes, I I own this resort." And he goes, "But you're the landscaper, you're the gardener." And he goes, "No, no, no, no. That's what I love doing. And that's what brings me balance. That adds to my authenticity so that I am able to do what I do well. And I have managers that run the place. But I love what we do here. I love the work that we do here. So put that on your watch list. The Shift by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I know it's one of those films that, travels well through time. And though it was made maybe 25 years ago, it's still relevant today, because this faith, this philosophy, this way of living that we teach here is timeless. One of the things that I offered as an idea and a question in our early morning class, Let's Talk Science of Mind, is what you would say if you happen to be in front of the building and somebody walked by and said, "What is this place? What are you up to here?" What would you say? And one of the things that I invited the students to think about, and I would invite you to do the same thing, is speak from your eye. Speak from your own personal point of view about this faith, this philosophy, this way of living. I come here because I feel seen in this community. I come here because I can be my authentic self in this community. I come here because in this community, it's about learning, it's about understanding, it's about asking the hard questions about spirituality. Our spiritual journey is unique to each and every one of us. Just as that pianist in the movie, his spiritual journey is playing the piano at 2 in the morning when nobody else is listening, because it connects him with a power that's greater than himself. Each of us have that unique opportunity to find our own individualistic way to be connected to that power that is greater than ourselves. And if we think we don't know how to do it, if we think we don't know what it means, then the words that we said earlier today about being open at the top is a way to receive that impress. Being open at that top might mean for you having an open mind, to be willing to say to someone when they say what they think, "Oh, tell me a little bit more about that." Because what you're seeking in that opportunity is common ground. What you're seeking is for them to say something like, "Oh, well, I pray in my religion." "Me too. Let me tell you about our prayer. We pray in an affirmative way here." You have the opportunity then, that little door has been opened so that they can say, "Well, what does that mean?" That means that we open ourselves up to what we believe that we want to happen, but we surrender it into the divine. We surrender it into the spirit that if God has another plan, we're okay with that too. We're okay with that too. That's what it is to be open at the top. It's open at the top that when we pray, we operate as if it's already done. That is a way to be open at the top as well. So I want you to think about on this day, what is it about the science of mind, about CSL Visalia, about new thought, about new age, about my religious upbringing that I have? If I were to pick and choose a little something for everything because it speaks to me, I come here because at this place, I get to do that. I get to put together my own path, a way that supports me in being authentic in a community where I can love whoever it is that I love. I can be whoever I feel within my heart that I am. And I'm proud of it. I stand in it. I stand in my authenticity. And if somebody else doesn't like it, we get to bless and release them. We get to bless and release them because we believe their good lies elsewhere. And may they quick be to it. Let them go find their community, their thinking. We're not here to change anyone else. We are here to be the divine example of what change looks like to us so that others may be empowered to change their thinking and therefore change their life. Why do we do this? Why do I remind you of all of this at a time like now? We are aware that there is a shift going on in our community, in our state, in our nation. And I want to invite us to be good stewards of our own faith philosophy and way of living so that when others are out there questioning their evangelical religious obedient training, that they may now be willing to let go of because whatever is being spoken from the pulpit is not true for them. They can look over and see something else, another opportunity where they can still be expressive in their spiritual journey in a loving and compassionate way. This is the time for us to be the demonstration of oneness. And what do I mean by oneness? Oneness means that we know that each and every one of us are one with the divine. But we're smart enough to know some folks have forgotten that. Some folks have become separated from that idea. And it's not our job to go tell them to get reconnected. It's our job to show how our being connected works and that we're happy and that we're joyous and that each and every day we awaken with the idea and the attitude that we're grateful for another day and that we are grateful that we are always at choice and we are grateful that we can be our authentic self. And all we need to do in our morning prayer is ask Spirit, ask God, ask the divine, God, show me what is mine to do this very day. Show me how to be the example. Show me what I am called to do today, knowing and accepting that if we have been shown what is ours to do today, Spirit already knows that we have all that is required to do it. We are already prepared because we are grounded in our faith. We are grounded in a philosophy that we can be audacious enough to say that to create a world for all is possible. We are open to knowing how to get from where we are to where we want to be. Worthy example, people are watching. And so we have this opportunity right here, right now, to be our audacious, authentic self. You are not an accident. You are perfect in the eyes of the divine. Anything that looks like an error or a mistake in your life is a lesson that was there to teach you something. It was there to teach you how to be your authentic self. No one wants to hear the drama you went through. What people do want to hear is how you got over, how you became your own Harriet Tubman, how you became your own Dr. King, how you became whatever leader you lift up and aspire to be, how you became your own Harvey Milk, how you became your own Barnard Rustin, how you became and lived your authentic life so that you might be the example of for someone else to also be their authentic self. It requires that you be open at the top. It requires that you have the faith that if you step out there, you know that you are loved and supported, and you will be given the tools, the words, the thoughts, the idea to be there as you are called to be there in that moment. That's my message for today. I know that for some folks within the sound of my voice, we are coming up against Father's Day next week, and we have thoughts about showing up in a certain way and being a certain thing. And maybe it's not safe to authentically walk into that room and being our authentic self. Ask Spirit, what is mine to do with this? Maybe Spirit will whisper to you, call, don't go. Call, don't go. Spirit will guide you on what is yours to do. We are soon approaching, before we gather again, many people will be celebrating Juneteenth. What does that mean to you? How will you lift that up? Are you fully understanding what Juneteenth even represents or means so that you can have an empowered conversation about it? Be ready, get ready. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. What does that mean to you in your world? Hopefully, it's a call to recognize the heroes whose shoulders that we stand on, where we can audaciously proclaim right now, I am who I am, and I love who I am, and that love is love is love. So the call to action for this week is to do what it takes to get ready, to be fully ready to be your full, authentic self. Have a blessed week. Have a great week and go out there and be the example. Thank you. And now our musicians will give you another song.
Check, 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 check.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to last for the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Thank you so much. Now, as we talk about love, there's many forms of love as we move into our giving portion of service. So if you are unable to give love in the form of monetary compensation, just go ahead as the baskets come around, go ahead and just give your love in any way you can think of, whether it's a prayer that, you know, we do good and we are good, or for the world. No matter what you have to offer, as the baskets come around, go ahead and have that in mind. So if I could have a couple ushers come up, please, so we can go ahead and do that. Thank you so much. Hello. All right. Now, if everyone will read the prosperity prayer with me up on the screen. Today I expect every good thing to come to me, for I know that divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, to a more complete self-expression. Everything that belongs to spirit, I accept. Everything that partakes of the nature of divine reality, I claim as my own. I identify with success and I prosper in everything I do. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security. For I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibility. Thank you. For those of you out watching in the world, you can log on to www.cslvisalia.org and click donate if you feel so moved. If any part of Rev Jack's message touched your heart, if any part of Bonnie's lovely conversation with us about diversity touched your heart, please feel free to leave us a love donation at the website if you feel so moved. Thank you. If everyone would just kind of reach your hands out from your body. We bless these gifts and give thanks for the good that they will manifest. And so it is. Thank you.
All right, everyone. I hope there was something that inspired you today. And as we gather in the circle, as we come together to sing our benediction, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I know that each and every person within the sound of my voice has been blessed by this service today. I release this prayer into the universe, knowing that we're ready. And so it is.